Hello, everybody. Hi, good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock Central, 5 Eastern, so we're going to start. So my name is Dr. Zhanna, and this is How to Be Nice class. What a lovely topic. I see you guys are joining. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to join. And for those who are live, if you're listening to the replay, that doesn't matter, it's housekeeping. If you're live here, here's how this meeting is going to go. This is a webinar, not a Zoom meeting, meaning we're not going to see each other. Okay. And I do this so that there's no distraction. But I can see who's coming in and you guys can see me. So if you want to ask any questions, you can actually ask them in the chat. I usually disable chats, but for this webinar, I forgot to do that. There's two ways to talk to me. Through the chat, on bottom, the button below on the bottom of your screen, there's something called a chat or Q&A. Okay, you can type either way. Chat usually gets messy and it goes so fast, so Q&A is a better place. So I'm going to be looking at the Q&A as we go. And anybody in the Q&A right now, can you guys please tell me that you can see and hear me? Okay, let me pull it up. I can hear you. Yes. I'm so glad I could make it, says Erin. Yeah, Erin, me too. Oh God, you guys, tell a little story about making it. You know, you guys gonna tell me what specialties are here? I'm an orthodontist, and I often talk to my clients and just colleagues about emergencies. Are emergencies pain in the butt for you guys too? Let me know in the Q&A. It is for us. I think for every business owner, emergency appointments are a pain in the butt. And we're trying to make a dermatology appointment. Me and my husband were talking to the dermatologist today because we received some kind of bad news, like not great news. I don't want to scare anybody, but not great news. There's something going on, somebody in our family, potentially malignant, and we need to do a surgery. And they scheduled her like weeks out. And so we're trying to call and talk to the doctor and say, listen, this sounds like an emergency. Like, isn't there like cancer cells spreading? Like, what's going on? Can we be seen sooner? And we can't reach anybody. Like, nobody's picking up the phone. We keep calling, finally get a physician assistant on the phone. Well, a nurse first. And they're booked out. Nothing is available. So we're like calling around in town to see if anybody can see them. And like nobody's available. And we guys freak out when we have a broken bracket and the patient calls us with an emergency. Physicians don't really care, apparently, at least in the dermatology department around where I am at. So yeah, like potential cancer is not that of an emergency for them. And a broken bracket or a pokey wire is an emergency for us. So just something to think about. Okay, anyway, I digress. Hi again. I know there's a lot of you here that know me and have either my clients or have followed my work, but there's a couple of you that are brand new. And for those who are brand new, I'm going to quickly tell you who I am. My name is Dr. Zhanna. I'm an orthodontist and a life coach, and I have a private coaching practice where I help women in healthcare, women dentists, women doctors, with all the problems that we're dealing with, because they're very specific, aren't they? Very different than for men, that's for sure. Okay, and today is a class on how to be nice. So what I want you, somebody's asking in the Q&A, is that people pleasing kind of ish? Yes, we're going to talk about it. The first thing is we're going to define it. So what I want you guys to do is say hello, give me your name, tell me your name, and tell me your specialty. Put it in the Q&A, okay? All right, let me pull this up. Let me see who we have here. Maggie is general. Olivia is an endodontist. Hi, Pat. Pat is ortho. Simone ortho. Let's see what else. General. I own a multi-specialty practice. Woo, good for you. Okay. Is this a call about people pleasing? I think I already saw that comment. Yes. All right. So let's talk about what this call is about. What is being nice? I called the name of this training, How to Be Nice, not how to stop people pleasing. Because I think a lot of coaches and trainers and gurus and self-help and all kinds of people are telling you to stop people pleasing. And I don't necessarily think you need to do it. Hear me out. It's how you do it. It's not what you do. That took a minute. Nobody can tell you what to do with your life, okay? And if somebody comes, a guru in your practice, and tells you that they know how to do things, please run. They're just after your money, okay? Nobody knows what you should do 100%. only you know. But I want to teach you how to do it so that it doesn't cause you heartache and suffering. Okay? Okay. So what is being nice? Here's how I define being nice. Being nice is doing something for another person, typically something you don't want to do, in order to control how that person thinks about you or what they ultimately do. Okay? Let me say it again. Being nice is going out of your way, doing something that you don't genuinely, truly in your core want to do, because it's typically something selfless. It's not for you, it's something for another person, and you don't like really want to do it. But you're doing this because you want them to think that you're a nice person, or to think that that was so nice, so generous, or return a favor, or be nice to you back. Something like that, right? So we're doing something with kind of like a little bit of an ulterior motive where we don't realize it. So this is how I define being nice. What does that look like in dental practice? Very typical example, giving a bonus to your treatment coordinator. A lot of you guys have TCs. I don't know if general dentists have TCs. Ortho definitely does. Perio does. So funny, we don't have any periodontists today. Okay. Anyway, giving a bonus to a treatment coordinator in order so that she won't leave the practice, right? Maybe she's getting like burned out or she's like complaining about things. You're like, well, I'm going to give her a bonus because I don't want her to leave. You're doing something you don't really want to do. As a business owner, you don't want to be constantly giving raises and bonuses because that lowers your profit, right? Paying our staff is an expense that lowers our profit. So as a for-profit business, we don't want to be doing this. So you don't really want to do it, but you do it because you don't want her to leave, right? Or I've seen people do like give an hourly raise to a like front desk person just so that she would start showing up on time. Does that happen to anybody? The front desk routinely shows up late or calls in sick last minute repeatedly. Yeah. So some people give them a raise in an attempt to get the front desk to start coming. Okay. Or this is another situation for my client, is attending her office manager's baby shower that she did not want to attend. Like, they're not friends, they're friendly, she didn't really want to attend, but she didn't want to be rude and decline. Okay. These are examples of how we're being nice. Or do you guys have, I think so many doctors like have this half hour, 20 minutes, an hour, maybe even before patients start, and you want to get some stuff done. You want to get organized. You want to, check her emails at work or write lab slips or do some clean checks or call back a patient or a doctor and stuff like that. So like you want to catch up with some stuff, and then you're constantly getting interrupted. Like they're constantly knocking on your door. Can we schedule this patient? What am I going to do with this? I didn't get the insurance verification. Somebody so-and-so called in. They want to come in for an emergency appointment. Anybody? And you're like, I have an open door policy. Like, I don't want to, I want my staff to know that I'm there for them. You know what happens? If you want them to know that you're there for them, you're always there for them. So they're always going to go for you because you're always there for them. Why would they need to solve problems on their own? Interesting, right? Or like you're buying a birthday cake, like not the one that, an office manager buys for every employee, but like you personally go to the store and buy a cake for an employee you don't even like really don't like her, you like don't get along, but you want her to think that you're nice, you're a good boss, you're generous. You want her to think that you care. You don't, but you buy the cake. Okay, so those are the type of situations. I've given you a bunch of examples of how we're being nice in our private practice that bites us in the ass. Okay, you don't really want to do it, but either other people expect you to do it, or you do it because you want to make them happy. That's how I define being nice. Okay. And typically it sounds something like, sorry, I'm just checking the Q&A. I thought something popped. Typically it sounds something like in your head or to another person, you would say things like, well, I don't want to be rude, or it's awkward if I say no, or I don't want them to leave, or, but I want people enjoy coming to work. Or even, we're meant to serve each other. Like it's in the Bible. It's for the greater good of humanity. One client said, people pleasing is the glue of the society. Genius. People pleasing is the glue of the society. How many of you believe that? Show of hands. right? Okay. So Zhanna, what's the problem? Like, it's a nice thing to do. Like, what is the problem with being nice? It's not, if you use it correctly, but a lot of us don't. So let's figure out why we're using it against ourselves and what to do. Okay. So why are we trying to be nice? Why we want to be nice? Why is it a good thing to be nice? Well, because it's a nice thing to do. But what does that mean? Nice thing to do. Why is it so valuable to be nice? Have you guys ever thought about it? I usually hear, what is the right thing to do? And I always say, says who? It's the right thing to do according to who? Everybody? The society? And the answer is our parents, our teachers, everyone around us, the Bible, the rules that we have learned since the moment we came to this world taught us that it's a valuable thing to be nice. But we never question this, do we? We don't have time to question it until it causes us problem. And that's what I talk to my clients about. And then we unpack it, we get to the bottom of it, and relief comes. And then we can make stronger, more empowered decisions moving forward. So that's what I'm going to help you do here. Okay. So says who? How is nice born? So let's go way to the back. When we are born, when people are born into this world, we're born actually pretty selfish. Anybody who has little kids here, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? I don't know if you guys don't know, I have 2 children. I have a 2-year-old named Ellie. It's a girl. And I have today the 19th. Yeah, today he turned 10 months. I have a 10 months old boy. So 2-year-old girl, Ellie, and a 10 months old boy, Ron. Okay, so they're very little. They're very selfish, right? Mamas, they are like, they just want what they want. They just want to be taken care of. And he wants a toy. Ron just goes for it, or Ellie goes for that toy. No regard for me or her brother. You know, she wants to fart, she farts. She wants to ask for something when I'm in the bathroom. Like, she doesn't care, right? It's all about me, right? So we come into this world pretty selfish, which is normal, right? It's a survival thing. Like, I need to take care of myself in order to survive. And then we, parents, and then later teachers and the society and everybody around us teach us how to be in the society, right? Teach us the rules of engagement. It's even in kids' books, like we teach them manners. Like the other day I was reading this book to Ellie. She brought me a book. She loves reading. She's like, Mom, read this book. So look at the book. It's called, I think it's called like Bern and Ernie Learning Manners. You guys know what it is? So it's these 2 characters from the Sesame Street, and they're learning manners, right? And there's different situations in this book that teach children to like yield the rite of passage, or say thank you, or apologize if they did something to hurt or upset another person, right? Manners. And so, like, what's wrong, Zhanna, with manners? There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is, how do we teach in real life manners outside of that book? How do humans learn anything? It's through reward and punishment. Okay, so here's how it looks like. Ellie helps me load the dishwasher. What do I tell her? Great job, honey. Great job helping mommy. It's a verbal praise. The reward is verbal. I'm so proud of you for getting an A. Verbal praise. Great job finishing your plate. Here's a dessert. There's a physical reward. She didn't want to eat the stuff. She maybe wasn't even hungry. But we're rewarding her behavior, pleasing us, parents, to do what we want her to do. And then not only she gets this positive reinforcement from us, parents, people that mean everything in her life, or your guys' life when we were little, but we also give her a physical reward. Here's a cookie because you ate all your veggies. You did so good at the doctor's appointment. Here's a sticker. Another physical reward. Do you guys see the pattern? When we do what other people want us to do, we get a reward, either verbal or physical. And it registers in our brain. Our brain is like, oh, that felt good. They made me feel good about myself. They said some nice words about myself. Not to mention that this creates this whole cycle of high achievers that learn that you have to earn being good. You have to earn being liked and loved through some kind of behavior. So we start chasing it through one accomplishment, another. That's like a whole different topic. But we also learn that we need to do things that other people want us to do, nice things, and then there's a reward at the end. Right? So first thing, why we're becoming nice is because we're socialized to do that. Did I spell it right? I think so. We're literally socialized to be nice, especially as women. Boys are not socialized as much. And then when we enter medicine, it's like a whole different ballpark. It gets way worse, right? And then there's a punishment if we don't do what parents want us to do, right? Oh, you were mean to Sally, you're grounded. No hitting, go do a timeout. If you don't help me with laundry, I'm taking your video games. Have you noticed how the punishment is typically like isolating or being asocial? And what it does is it triggers our brain. So the reward triggers our brain to create this habit of I do what other people want me to do, and then there's something good for me on the other side. And the punishment triggers another part of our brain that is a survival part. Okay, let me explain. Back in the day when we were in caves, I can't speak, I should have had some water with me. When we were in caves, what happened if you didn't get along with your buddies and everybody went inside the cave and you stayed outside of the cave? Can you picture that? At night. What did that mean? And they like put a huge stone, closed the cave, and now you're on the outside. You screwed. You are someone's dinner. You're gonna die. And that survival, that fear of separation from the tribe is so strong in our brains until this day, 2024. That whenever we are separated from the pack, it triggers a lot of fear and anxiety in us. A good example of this, public speaking. How many of you guys are comfortable public speaking? Even those who are comfortable, we still get a little nervous, don't we? And there is literally a biological biological explanation for that, right? That part of our brain, when we are speaking on a stage, we're technically separate from the tribe, right? Everybody's sitting out there and we're here, like me right now, like we're kind of on the opposite sides of the screen. And I'm here, you're there. So for my brain, it's intimidating. Like, oh my God, what are they thinking? Are they judging? Of course, everybody's judging everybody. But the brain is so terrified of that because it is afraid of rejection, because rejection equals death. Literally, that's what your brain and my brain is thinking. So back to the whole being nice. Your brain literally thinks that if I displease other people, I'm going to die. It's very primitive. Okay? And so we have this habit in our brain to do what other people want us to do because there's a reward. And if we don't, then there's pain. And so we grow up. We're no longer children. We're adults. We grow up, but this conditioning stays in our brain. We are literally being conditioned by our parents and society and books and teachers like Pavlov dogs. Remember that experiment when they rang the bell and they start drooling because they gave them food, and then they took away the food and they rang the bell and they still are salivating? That's just like a pathway was created in their brain, right? Like a habit. That's what our parents and society creates. It's not a bad thing when we're little. That's why I told you it's not a bad thing to people please if you do it right. The problem is when we're little, it's a good thing. But and the reason why it's a good thing is because we're children. We cannot abstractively think. We cannot have higher reasoning and understanding for why we're doing things. So there has to be more like black and white binary rules for us to function in the society so that we don't just go straight into hedonism and just eat and drink ourselves to death, right? But once we grow up, nobody stops us and says, hey, listen, Zhanna, did you know that now you can decide what you want to do for yourself? Nobody stops us, right? And that's where it comes back and bites us in the ass. I'm going to show you now in a minute. So we create these associations and then they stay with us when we grow up. How many of you guys go to the gym, have a workout, and then have a thought, well, I deserve a treat? Or even like at least a protein shake or something. I just worked out, right? Or on Friday, oh, I worked so hard. It was a crazy week. I need a drink. Do you see what I'm saying? And so these associations is what creates this habit of doing something that you don't genuinely truly want to do, but you don't want to be rejected and you want other people to like you. Because if they like you, then you're gonna first survive. And then second of all, they're more likely to reciprocate and do what you want them to do, right? So to summarize, we are nice because we're socialized to do it, and then it becomes a habit. And then the second thing is we are afraid to be unliked and not accepted. We're afraid of not being liked. How many here are afraid of not being liked? Not being liked. So many, especially women, create their whole leadership style on being liked, having personal relationships with everybody. I kid you not, I used to work for this company where one of our leaders, she would send these emails with like a bunch of all caps, hello, and like 10 exclamation marks. And there were different colors there. And there were like memes and stuff. Very, very informal, right? Like very like, I'm your best friend, we're buddies, yay, right? Like she really wanted to be liked so badly. And she thought that if people liked her, then we would be a good team and everybody would get along and everybody would do a good job and then the practice would succeed. I know a lot of you think like that until it's a problem because your staff doesn't act back like that, like a team. Not being nice, don't reciprocate, right? And so that brings me to the last part is, why is this a problem? Like, why can't we just be nice? It's not a problem. The problem is that we have this unconscious assumption that we don't realize it's unconscious, is that when we are nice, people will be nice to us. Like, we probably, like, sounds so innocent. Like, yeah, sure, why not? That's a nice thing to do. But you guys, stop here for a second. How many times you do something nice and the other person doesn't reciprocate? That's when we feel like it's unfair and they're taking advantage of us. People who do nice things and don't expect anything in return are not on this call. They're not. It's not a problem for you being nice. You're like, what do you mean? It's not a problem for me. The problem, people for whom being nice is a problem are people who feel like other people take advantage of their niceness. Or I hear things from women doctors like, I'm such a doormat. Or like, I'm such a pushover. Like, I just do everything. Like, I don't set boundaries. I'm not tough. There are two reasons why she's doing it. It's a habit. She's been socialized to do it. And she's afraid to be unliked because it's literally death. Okay? But the biggest problem is that unconsciously she expects her staff to reciprocate, or her husband to reciprocate, or her friends to reciprocate, or her kids to reciprocate, right? So we are walking around with these expectations that we don't realize. We don't realize it. We're banking on them, but we don't realize that. And when people don't reciprocate, like I said, we feel like we're being taken advantage of or it's unfair. That's where it becomes a problem, okay? We're conditioned to do it and we have unconscious expectations to have something in return. Okay, I've been talking for a while. Oh boy, already half an hour. Let me look in the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. Let me see. This is so good. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. This makes perfect sense. I'm glad. I never thought about it before. You really break it down. Yeah. This is exactly what I do with my clients. Once you break it down, it becomes apparent where the problem is. Like clarity is everything. It becomes apparent. And once something is very clear, it's easier to solve it. Okay? All right. So then if we know what the problem is, it's a habit and it's an expectation, then what's the solution? Okay, hold on. Hold with me, guys. Give me a second here. We knew that that orange marker is not going to remove so easily. Solution. All right, so what do we say was the problem again? It's a habit, right? We're socialized to do it. We do it unconsciously. And again, without thinking, unconsciously, we expect people to reciprocate the niceness. So once you know what the problem is, the solution is pretty simple, yeah? So we need to break this habit of doing it for the reward, and we need to drop all our expectations of reciprocity. That's it. Literally. Okay, so how do you do it? habit. First thing, I want you to realize that you have a choice in everything you say yes to. It may seem simple. This is everything. So many of my clients, when they've learned this, they first gloss over it, and then when they apply it, it changes completely their life, changes completely how they practice, just changes everything for them. So, and here's what I mean by that. Everything you guys do is a choice. Did you realize that? Like, you don't have to have a practice. You don't have to, maybe this is obvious. You don't have to give your staff bonuses. Did you know that? Actually, I was in a group the other day, talking with someone in a Facebook group, and it was an orthodontic group. There are orthodontic groups, and I'm sure for other specialties it works the same way, but there are doctors that don't pay their staff any bonuses. Did you guys know that? I didn't. It was so cool to learn. Yeah. Like treatment coordinators, a lot of practices that I had worked with and my clients have or work at, they're bonuses for example, for a treatment coordinator, right? If the patient starts the treatment, they put a down payment, she gets a bonus. There are doctors out there that say, why would I pay her a bonus to do her job? She's in sales. That's part of it. And people are like, well, people in sales typically rely on their commission. And I see the point of that doctor. Okay, but then if you rely on the commission, then you are going to kind of be salesy and kind of be pushy. And then a lot of the time your patients will feel like they're being pushed in a sale and they are not going to like it. Then they're not going to have a lot of trust with you as a doctor. Sorry, I know Zoom does that. And they're probably going to be a pain as a patient because they feel like they've been forced to, like it wasn't their decision, right? So you don't have to pay bonuses. You don't even have to have a front desk. Like I know somebody who doesn't have anybody. I think she only has a front desk. You guys, you don't even have to tomorrow wake up and go to work. Did you know that? Well, but how am I going to pay my bills? You don't have to pay your bills. Guys, it's all a choice. Seriously, stay with me. All of these things are a choice. There are plenty of people that don't have a home. Plenty of homeless people. We just moved from California. There's so many homeless people. Not so much in Nashville. I don't know where you guys are from, but do you get my point? There are plenty of people that do not bathe their kids, like ever. There are plenty of moms that don't feed their kids homemade food. There are plenty of moms that don't feed their kids. Many moms just gave away their kids. This is my point, you guys. Yes, there are consequences for our decisions, for sure, but all of these decisions are choices. So next time you feel stuck at work because of an issue going on between your staff, you have a choice to do nothing. You have a choice to fire everybody. You have a choice to, they come into you, they say something, you do nothing. You don't have to do anything. Truly, genuinely, once you realize this, there's freedom in it. So then how do you decide what you do? I want you guys to set your own expectations. Decide on your why for doing things. I'll call it my own why. Why do you want to give her a raise? Why do you want to give her a bonus? Why do you want to hire somebody or fire somebody? I want you guys decide this for yourself without any pressure, without any outside expectations. Because listen, you're a woman, probably, most likely, I'm only marketing to women. So you're a woman on this call, and you know the impossible standards that us women have. They're impossible. Forget about even being a woman doctor. Just being a woman in 2024, the standards from the society are impossible because you have to be beautiful, but you also have to be smart, right? But not too smart, because that's intimidating. And you also have to be assertive, but not too much. Yeah, because it's kind of bitchy, right? You have to be agreeable. But you also have to be ambitious. But you also need to be a mom and married and with kids. But you have to be a working mom. Like, don't stay at home, although there's a whole debate on that, right? And preferably a business owner. But you also have to be thin, like bounce back already. It's been a year. It's been 6 months. It's been 6 weeks. Bounce back already. And you have to breastfeed your child for at least a year, preferably 2, but don't be weird. Like, don't breastfeed toddlers. Right? And don't take breaks and have friends, but make sure you homemade cook. Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? The standards are impossible. I know you know it. And then add on top of it, being a doctor, you come to work and you hear, when is the doctor coming? Especially if you're an associate. When is the doctor coming? They used to tell me, I used to have these patients who were like, Miss, excuse me. I kid you not. They were talking to me like this. They're like, Miss, excuse me. I was like, whoa. Tell me how many male doctors get treated like that. Exactly. The standards that are placed on us women are impossible, ladies. And now, on top of it, we're trying to live up to everybody else's expectations. No, it's a no for me, okay? We're going to have to decide on our own why. We have to set our own expectations. Own expectations. I want you guys to decide what kind of business owner you want to be. How much money do I want to make? How many ops do I want to have? How much staff do I need for this? How much am I going to pay them based on how much profit I want to make? Most of you don't ask yourself these questions. That's how we end up being reactive versus proactive. I want you to decide what kind of life do I want to have? What kind of do I want to be an associate? Do I want a business owner? Why? What is my why? And make sure it doesn't include other people. Make sure you're doing this for you. Even if it's because I want to support my kids. Why? Okay, you want to really figure out the deeper why for you. You guys, I cannot stress this enough. When you try to do things to get acceptance from other people or to make other people happy, even when it's your patients or your own parents. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story, sister. When I graduated my first dental school at Charles University in Prague, so I was born and raised in the Ukraine, and then I went to medical school in Russia, and then dental school in Czech Republic, and then another dental school at UOP, and Temple I did my ortho residency, right? And so when I was in Czech Republic, I was a foreigner, right? I was from the Ukraine. And so I had to learn Czech language, which is different than Russian. It's similar, it's Slavic, but it's different. Anyway, so I had to learn a new language, and my dad is a dentist. So I studied super, super hard. It's like a 5-year long program to become a dentist in Europe. And my parents never visited. I was 18. There's no college. And so there's like, I'm thinking in my head, like, oh my God, I want to get straight A's. I want my dad to be so proud that I went to Europe, another country, and like, I was the best in the class. Different language, right? And I was like, they will finally come visit Prague, the capital of Czech Republic. They will finally come visit Prague, see me graduate. I'm going to lose a bunch of weight. I'm going to have straight A's, and my dad will see me walk and get the diploma and be so proud of me. I studied like crazy. I didn't date anybody for 5 years. I didn't have any social life, like at all, like hardly any friends. It was so damn hard. You know how hard dental school is? Imagine in a different language. Yeah, it was awful. I had no life for 5 years. I get on that stage. I have straight A's. My mom and dad flew from Russia. They're there in public, in the audience, whatever, waiting for me. I get straight A's. I get all the accolades. We go, take pictures. And I'm like, Dad, look, straight A's. Guess what he said? He goes, so? I go, what do you mean? Aren't you proud of me? I did this for you. And he goes, you did it for yourself. Everything in me collapsed. I'm telling you the story, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. And that day was like, how old am I? 14 years ago. 15 years ago. I remember it like yesterday. I was doing quick math in my head. My whole world shattered. I've sacrificed everything, you guys, everything. I didn't date. I didn't have social life. I didn't have anything to get straight A's and make him proud. And my own father goes, you did it for yourself. And you know what? You know why it hurts so much? Because he was right. Everything we do, guys, is for ourselves, but we don't realize it. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you the lesson I learned that day is that I need to be really careful about the goals that I set, because I will achieve them. But looking back, what is the price that I paid to achieve that goal? Was it worth it? You want to answer that question before you get on the quest to achieve something. That's why I cannot stress enough to decide on your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you taking 6 weeks maternity leave or 6 months maternity leave, or you're postponing having a baby, or you are going to open a private practice, or you're staying an associate, or you're getting a specialty degree? Why? Make sure it is for you. Make sure you like your reason. Make sure it has nothing to do with making anybody proud or pleasing or any of that bullshit, okay? Your own expectations. And then next thing is give yourself that reward. Remember I talked to you about the reward? They're told us, do this. You did nice for helping mama. Here's your cookie. your own reward. Give yourself that reward. And I'm not saying like I'm not talking about like going and buying yourself flowers. You can, but I'm talking about what's going on here, right? Like how many of us go and say, Jesus, I killed it today. I'm such a badass. I have kids and I'm working and I'm fucking killing it. I'm on a rant. You guys, if you have children in the room, please don't let them listen to this because I'm very passionate about this topic. We need to start talking like this in between our ears to ourselves. I'll give you an example. I had a client who's office manager. So I coach this client. She's a dentist. And then she had a great, amazing office manager, but that office manager was on the verge of quitting. And so my client said, can you coach her? I go, okay, sure. And this manager goes above and beyond. She does everything way outside of her job description. And she feels shitty about it because nobody appreciates her. Right? And there was a particular situation. So the doctor has a dog that she takes to practice. And the dog pooped in the middle of the waiting room. And so you have like 2 front desk people. You have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 assistants. You have an office manager, you have a treatment coordinator, you have a doctor, right? And the poop is sitting there, and like after lunch, like patients start pouring in the waiting room, and like there's just a giant pile of poop, a dog poop in the middle, and nobody does anything. Like everybody's talking about it, but nobody does anything. And eventually this office manager is like, Jesus Christ. She puts on gloves, she gets that poop, she cleans it off, and the problem is solved. And this is one of the examples of how she goes above and beyond. And she's like, she came to me saying that this is like, I think I have to leave because nobody appreciates me. Like nobody even said anything. Nobody even said anything. Not like, oh, thanks. Let's call her Amy. Thanks, Amy, for doing this. Wow, that was so great. Like nobody even said anything. And you know what happens the more you please people and go out of your way, people start expecting it. Yeah. Yeah. So then if they were rewarding you with verbal praise or some sort of other physical monetary praise, they start expecting it from you. That happens in relationships all the time, right? That's why when we're dating, it's like, oh, so great. And then afterwards, you're doing all his laundry and cleaning and organizing and blah, blah, blah. And he like doesn't even pay attention, doesn't even notice. You're like, literally, you have to literally show my husband, like, look, do you see? I cooked. Can you smell it? He's like, no. I'm like, you're kidding me? You literally slept in the room with a crock pot. Right? So people start expecting these things out of us. And so it's very important. This is what I taught this office manager, Amy. I told her, listen, Amy, you have to start giving yourself, first of all, do you want to do this? She's like, yes. I go, why? Don't do it for them. Do it for you. Why would you do it if it was for you? She's like, because this is the kind of person I am. I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, I'm very religious. This is how I was brought up. You know, you need to be humble. You need to do things for others. I go, but do you like you for doing this? She's like, yes, I like the kind of person I am. I'm so generous, and I'm just amazing that when something like this happens that's completely not within my job descriptions, she's like, I'll go and do it. I'm like, amazing. Make sure to tell yourself this. And so she learned to give herself credit. Like, damn, I did such a good job. Wow, that was so cool of me. That was so nice of me. I'm such a badass. I guarantee you, listening to this class right now, you are not doing that because we're not taught to do this. And I want you to learn to start doing this. Give yourself that reward. Decide why you want to do this. Set your own expectations and then praise yourself. No more, I should, I have to. These are toxic words. I have to, I should. None of this. Ladies, toxic. No more. Okay? Remember, we have a choice. There's nothing we have to do. There's nothing we should do. Enough with this already. Okay? We want to do it. We have a choice. We want to go to work because we love paying our bills, because you love having hot water. Yeah? You love having cell phone service. Like, imagine PG&E just said, sorry, out of business. You're like, oh my God, who do I pay for electricity? You kidding me? My freezer is thawing. Right? We want to do these things, but we forget. And I want you guys to remind yourself that it is your choice. Okay? Okay. Next. Last thing, expectations to reciprocate. Here's what I want you to make it a mantra. Oh my gosh, how much time do I have left? think of doing something nice for somebody. It's like lending them money. I don't know if you guys lend money, but I made that habit for myself, that rule for myself a long time ago, is that if somebody asks, like I never lend people money. If you ask me for money, I'm not going to lend it to you. I'm just going to give it to you. I either say no or I give it thinking that it's a gift. Like I don't expect anything back. Because so many bad things happen when you lend, especially if it's somebody you have a relationship with that comes to you for money to borrow money from you, right? And then let's say they can't pay you back in time, or they can't pay you back the whole amount. And then it's a whole thing. Like then your relationship now suffers because it's like weird and awkward. And you're like, I don't know how to approach it. Like I've asked them already, and there's like boundaries are blurred. Terrible. So I just decided, listen, if I either say no, if somebody asks me to lend them money, I'm either saying no, or if I'm giving them money, it's a gift. So I want you to do the same thing with doing nice things. If you decide to do a nice thing for somebody that you don't really want to do, but you're like, it's a really nice thing, I really want to do it, expect nothing in return. It's a gift. Treat it as a gift. It's a gift. Nothing in return. Okay? You gave your treatment coordinator a raise. Don't expect her production to go up. Interesting, right? How the dynamic would change in the office. Otherwise, don't give her a raise. Don't give her a bonus. Otherwise, it's a manipulation. Okay? And so that brings me to, where do I write this? Brings me to the take home message. If you were to take one message home, is be kind, not nice. Be kind, not nice. Okay? If you forget everything else, be kind, not nice. And remember to give yourself credit. Remember to remind yourself what a badass you are for doing this. Okay? All right, my friend. Let's socialize, my friends. Let me see. Let me look in the chat real quick. This is awesome, Erin says. Wow, this was mind-blowing. Thank you, guys. Yeah, sorry, I get passionate about it, but it's a very important topic. It's a serious topic, and we need to talk about it, especially as women. Okay? So, summary. We're socialized to be nice. We develop this habit of going out of our way and being rewarded for this. And then we unconsciously expect other people to reciprocate. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to set your own expectations for yourself. Always remember that you have a choice. And remember to praise yourself. And lastly, aim to be kind, not nice. All right, guys. I hope that was very helpful. It was so awesome to be here with you guys on a Monday in the evening. I love this time. Let me know if you like this time. I'm starting to do calls on Mondays at 4 Central. I have more trainings to come, so I will probably do this at the same time. Let's talk about this topic. Ladies, it's very important, okay? If you listen to this and you're like, wow, this makes sense, but I don't know how to use it in my own situation, let's talk. I'm going to send you an email with the link. You can schedule a consultation call with me. I'm going to listen to your story, and you're going to walk away with 3 strategies that you can implement next day. Okay, in your office. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to solve the situation that you're in. Okay, let's keep this conversation going. It's very important that we talk about it. All right, my friends, I'm going to send you the link. Stay around. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following me and learning all things women doctors. I love you.